I believe that Mamdani has the highest favorability of any mayor ever. Well, hold on. There might have been more of a bump right after 9/11, but yeah, his favorability is sky high right now. Funnily enough, his favorability in the state of New York has gone down because they don't actually get to experience him. They're just hearing propaganda about how he's a jihadist or whatever. Um, this is favorability with black New Yorkers. It is a great reminder, by the way, that like there is a point to good governance. You know, black Democrats have in general been weaponized by the establishment as envoys of centrist thought, in large part because they're such reliable Democratic voters, because Republicans are so racist. But you know, when you show any group of people, white, black, young, old, Jewish, non-Jewish, whatever, that Mamdani actually cares about the city. Look at this. A 70-point swing in favorability over the course of less than a year. September 2025 to August 2026. 11 months. A 70-point swing. That's crazy. Just, I think it's important to remember that, like, you know, there is a benefit to good governance. All it took was one socialist in power for people to realize how good it is. Well, now you know why they're so obsessed with stopping them. The centrist think tank Third Way has been given, I think, $15 million in order to stop the DSA, no matter the cost. The more good Mamdani and other DSA people do, the harder the establishment will work to prevent them from proving that our points are correct. Centrist think tank Third Way looking to pay someone between $140,000 and $150,000 to spend their days digging up dirt on DSA and its members. They're trying to present this gig as anti-extremism work. But Third Way doesn't go after Republicans, do they? No, 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 no. No, they do not. They've really been leaning into Hassan hates blacks? Well, yeah, because centrists know they have no political agenda outside the continuation of the status quo, so the best thing they can really do is buy time. They're not interested in building or fixing anything, just wasting your time with cynical id-poll arguments, you know? Hillary Clinton did this, everyone does this. It's the only, it's easier than making an argument, I'll tell you that much. Speaking of Third Way ghouls, did you read the Neera Tanden interview? No, as a matter of fact, I didn't. I can't imagine there's anything good here. More empty words from a blasted Neera Tanden who should stop drinking before interviews if she wants to come across a serious person. Sure. We'll listen to the clip. Why not? I've seen alleged ex-members talk about how Third Way does not actually care about even being effective, but rather is being used as boot camp to trust funder types before they take up consulting gigs elsewhere. Yeah, and of course, that aligns perfectly with their agenda, which is not actually to affect outcomes. That's why they're really bad at the propaganda they pay people for, but really, really insistent on vice signaling how anti-socialist they are. They're not actually interested in moving the constituency further right, even though they say that. They're just interested in getting their next. Like I said, like the problem here is misaligned incentive structures, and the Democratic Party has a real problem with a insider cast of elite consultants who are more interested in getting their paycheck while the world burns than they are anything else. I can't wait for her to never show up in my timeline again. Well, unfortunately, the Democratic centrist establishment rewards failure, and she's quite bad at her job, so you're going to be seeing her a lot.
And my view, and I've said this, I say this all the time to all my
oh wow, she is drunk.
Friends, is if the choice is between incrementalism and radicalization, you'll be pulling the party
like actually quite drunk, like more noticeably than I expected. That's quite a bit
to the left, and I think like center-left folks or liberals, or I mean, I would describe myself as kind of a traditional liberal. You know, we have to offer a vision that is transformative, that you know actually addresses how did we get Trump?
Yeah.
Okay. And I think this is the central question in the Democratic Party. What I think in my head is, it is possible to put together a coalition that gets out of this 50-50 politics. I mean, one of the big problems of the last 10 years is that Republicans
51-49. Yeah.
51 for everything.
It's meaningless. Again, their objective is to waste time. Their job is to piggyback off of the money and you know, fame they get from signaling to people that they represent an anti-socialist faction within the Democratic Party. She's not interested in changing or addressing anything. If she was president rather than Trump, nothing would be materially different. Do these people think they're above the consequence of climate change? Like I've said, it doesn't matter. The collective irrationality of the capitalist profit motive exceeds the individual good judgment of every single capitalist. It does not matter. She's perfectly aware that she's marching the world towards its end. It does not matter. Much in the same way that you're aware that you're marching the world towards its end whenever you buy disposable plastics or aerosolized sprays or whatever else, you know? It operates like that at every level. I know it must seem like there's some threshold or cutoff where at some point your individual power or influence or wealth gets great enough that you stop thinking like that, but it actually doesn't. You still drive your car, eat beef, buy disposable plastics, and I bet you've complained about paper straws online too. Unfortunately, it's like this at every level. The human brain is just really, really, really not good at managing these kind of, greater tragedy of the commons style externalities. So you really need like a sort of collective class structure to mobilize here. You need like a perceived class interest, a material interest, one might call it, rather than a bunch of, individual do-gooders.
Is 5149, and it's never caused either party, but particularly Republicans.
Your goal is probably one of the reasons why she drinks so much. Many such cases. Carbon emissions of companies dwarf what people contribute. Yeah, but it doesn't matter because that's the way they think too. Elon Musk and the rest of them probably think, well, even if I was responsible, it wouldn't change anything. They all think that. Everyone thinks that. Everyone will continue to think that. It's why I've always said, the way to end animal agriculture is not to make everyone choose to be vegan. It's to make animal agriculture impossible through policy or changes in material circumstances. There's no such thing as widespread political change born off the back of everyone deciding to be a better person. ISIS, haven't heard about them in years. Israeli op, like everything else. Mamdani hits record popularity. The people love socialism. Why? It's not like they ever fought ISIS before. Why would Israel fight ISIS? Really, though, people are quite happy with Mamdani. I've said it before, it's really, really, really important to have socialists in government because you want people to be reminded that there is a consequence to good governance, You want people to feel like there's a point in caring. Really, really important. Where's that? I saw a YouTube short on this, on his, what are they calling it? Pothole politics? Can I find that? Is this the clip I'm thinking of here? This is a clip that was referenced in the broader clip,
I see how the world works, bro. You see how in the morning I said there was 2 potholes, right? Look what happened after I come back from work. What? Mamdani, I did not.
Just play the N-word. Fucking muting black culture. He's pogging. Aren't we all? Google searches for how to move to New York City have spiked lately. The ice cream truck adds so much. Yeah, now we know the inventory of the ice cream truck isn't going to be disrupted by driving over a pothole. Yeah, Mamdani's team has been working on responding to viral social media requests to fix stuff. He's essentially just trying to remind people that there is a benefit to reaching out to government. If you can't fix the small problems, how can you be trusted with the big ones, etc., etc. He's also promoting tourism through these posts.
Zoran, I need you to fix this immediately. I'm in Brooklyn. This is Eastern Parkway. This is the Brooklyn Museum. And I want you to look at these stairs. Something's missing. Do you see it? Do you see it? Exactly, you don't. It's supposed to be a man, specifically my man. I am supposed to be on a date with my man at the Brooklyn Museum, but he does not exist. Zoran, what are you going to do to fix this issue? I need you to get into Brooklyn and fix this immediately.
Okay. This is a little bit over-edited for my taste, but I appreciate that. Here's the short you were thinking of from More Perfect Union. Yeah, this is probably the thing that I was actually thinking of here.
Yep, that is Zohran Mamdani installing a water fountain in a public park. And by now you've probably heard of this guy, who posted a video asking Zohran to fix a pothole, and found by the end of the day it had been fixed. One of Zohran's first
I don't know about Mamdani polling. I've been seeing a lot where he's underwater. The negative polling that you've seen about Mamdani is from New York State. Upstate New Yorkers are being bombarded with 24/7 propaganda about how he's a jihadist. Also, a lot of them are now being subjected to higher taxes because they have been, they have second homes in New York City. It's racist propaganda. It's classist propaganda. Don't listen to upstate New Yorkers. In New York City, which is the only place Mamdani needs to give a shit about, people love him. They love him.
Actions as mayor was to fix a bump on a bridge bike lane, but that was just the beginning. When NYC experienced a huge snowstorm in February, Zohran increased emergency snow shoveler pay to $30 an hour. In March, he held a municipal madness, where the city identified and fixed community spaces in need of repair, like replacing missing trash bins or repainting a faded crosswalk. When James Dolan canceled the Knicks watch party outside of MSG, he streamed the game for free on screens across the city. And during the World Cup, he kept the lights on 24/7 at public soccer fields. He's proving that no problem is too small for good governments to fix, and it's had a big impact. We're not even a year in, and Zohran has already established such a...
Yesterday, you said the oil crisis could help us avoid the worst case scenarios, the climate crisis. Do you still think that's true? Well, unfortunately, the upper bound for worst case scenario is pretty high. I would say that if the human species is still around 500 years from now, we will have avoided the worst case scenario. So if your great, 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 etc. grandchildren are, eating cooked beans and rice around a fire, try to leave them something to remind them to thank Iran for it.
Reputation for problem solving that it's created a TikTok trend. 70% of New Yorkers perceive him to be hardworking. And all of this is on top of accomplishing a tax on the rich, universal childcare, and a rent freeze.
Good on him. You think all of humanity will be dead in 500 years? Nuts, pay attention. I said that's the worst case scenario. I'd give it a 30% chance that's the case. Announces a lottery for 2,000 free tickets to New York City high schoolers to 7 different Broadway shows. Oh, that's nice.
The fund is opening a lottery of more than 2,000 free tickets for high schoolers to 7 marquee Broadway shows right here in New York City. This is justice for the theater kids who have watched City Hall roll out lotteries for major sporting events all summer long. And asked, why not me?
Yeah, the most recent favorability report we have from Mamdani in New York City is favorable 69%, nice, to unfavorable 24%. Considering the fact that Cuomo ran against him as a Democrat and then as an independent, this is a shocking degree of popularity. He is, within the bounds of his own constituency, very possibly the most popular politically relevant person by a large margin. Like, no individual congressperson, senator, or governor enjoys an approval rating quite this high. This is shockingly popular. And he's doing it despite being a year in. That's pretty dang good. Well, more than a year, I'm sorry, it's less than a year. I'm sorry. It kind of feels like we're living in the Mamdani era. I was factoring in since the beginning of the race. No, since his inauguration, less than a year, yeah. Higher than Adams, de Blasio, even Bloomberg. Just goes to show how much we have to offer the world. Though again, Mamdani's excellence goes well beyond his ideology as a socialist. Only a socialist could be as good as Mamdani, but most socialists are not. You need socialism to inform the ideology, of course, but it goes beyond that. He's also just personally excellent, which is one of the reasons why I've said so many times, people email me, they ask me, what can I do to help people? What can I do to use my skills to improve the world? Which is a lot to put on me, by the way, just pitching me emails. But I always say, focus on your studies. Usually these people are young. They're like uncertain about their future in life or whatever. I usually just say, focus in school. The most important thing that you can do for anyone and everyone is to make sure that you're an excellent person, you're competent and capable, because that means you'll be able to best apply yourself when the time comes. How useful would Mamdani's socialism be if he wasn't disciplined and charismatic, right? It would be useless. He wouldn't be the mayor. Cuomo would be the mayor. Yeah, exactly. Stay out of debt, stay healthy, be good to people, be disciplined, work hard, wash your damn dishes, and clean out the garbage disposal. It's starting to stink.